Hello, dear Libras, and welcome to your October 2021 horoscope. My name is Justina, and I use Western Astrology Tropical Zodiac, and these predictions are most accurate for the rising sign. Now, October is a pretty interesting month. We've got 4 planets turning direct, so you are likely to experience more action and more stimulation throughout the 4 weeks of October. So let's break this month down for you and see what it brings on a more personal level, starting from the first transit on October the 1st. Mercury in Libra, square Pluto in Capricorn. And this is activating your first house that's happening in your sign. Mercury is in Libra at the time of this aspect. And Pluto is in your 4th house of home and family matters. So with the activation of Mercury, this could be a time when you might get obsessed or fascinated with an idea concerning your appearance, your physical appearance, your personal goals or your wishes. And something to pay attention to here is to not to force your opinions on others, because there is a tendency to do that with this alignment. But other than that, you might also discover some hidden things about your personal life that you perhaps were unaware before. Now, with Pluto activated in your 4th house, on the other hand, you become a very deep thinker. So you might want to resolve some issues concerning your family life, your domestic life. You might want to get into the root of a problem, because with this aspect, you are likely to find it easier to deal with profound matters which were difficult to approach before. Also, with Pluto activated here, someone in your domestic life might challenge some of your ideas, especially if you get obsessed with something. So something to remember as well around this time. Now, on the 6th, we've got a new moon in your sign, new moon in Libra, so you are likely to feel really empowered at this time. Both the sun and the moon will be here, and of course, Mars and Mercury as well. So a new moon is a time of new beginnings. It's a great time for starting something new. However, since Mercury is still retrograde, just be cautious with some new major changes in your life. However, something might naturally start at this time, especially since Mars is closely aligned with this new moon. So you will feel this inner drive, inner stimulation, especially since you've got 4 planets in your 1st house in your sign. So you are likely to feel like you want to get yourself out there. You don't want to hide behind the scene. That perhaps was the case in the previous months when all these planets were in your 12th house. Now, at the time of this new moon, we also have Pluto turning direct. So with Pluto turning direct, so if you experienced any challenging situations in your home and family sphere in the last few months, since Pluto turned retrograde at the end of April, now would be a great time for implementing some changes, or perhaps dealing with any issues basically that perhaps emerged in the past. So now would be a really great time for a fresh start, so to speak, with Pluto turning direct. And on the 10th of the month, we've got Saturn turning direct in Aquarius. And Saturn has been retrograde here since the beginning of May. So here, this is the sphere of children, creativity, romance. So while Saturn was retrograde here, and Jupiter as well, Jupiter will turn direct on the 17th. But with Saturn, perhaps your relationship with your children was tested, or the romantic side of life was triggered, or perhaps you were unable to have fun or find joy in the everyday life. Now, with Saturn turning direct, this is a great time for bringing more structure into this area of your life, for improving your relationship with your children, or perhaps on working on your romantic sphere of life, for instance. With Jupiter turning direct in this area of your life, you are likely to feel more spontaneous. It is likely to be easier for you to have fun and joy, especially if you were unable to do that in the last few months since Jupiter turned retrograde. Now, on the 17th, we've got the Sun in Libra in your sign, square Pluto in Capricorn. So here again, the area of your personal life, your physical appearance, your personality, identity is triggered here by this challenging alignment with Pluto in Capricorn. So here again, squares are energies that stimulate change. And with the Sun here triggered by Pluto, this could be a time when you might experience power struggles with others, or your patience could be tested. So generally, you might decide you want to implement some changes in your personal life because perhaps whatever was working before is no longer the case. And with Pluto activated in your fourth house, in your home sphere at this time, your ambition is stimulated. So you might be stimulated to improve your living conditions, to find more emotional safety and security in your home environment. But also, this is about building a solid home foundation. So there could be a trigger for some transformation in this area of your life here with this square. Now on the 19th, Mercury will turn direct in your sign. So if you experienced any miscommunication with others or misunderstandings, then from the 19th, communications should become much easier. Just bear in mind that Mercury will stay in the post-shadow period until the 3rd of November. So if you're going to sign anything important, keep in mind that Mercury might still trigger something in the air, so to speak. Now, the full moon in Aries happening on October the 20th is activating your sphere of personal relationships. But here with a full moon, it's not only about the area activated by the moon, because we also take into consideration the sphere of the solar point activation, so the first house in your case. So a full moon is usually a time of ending, something coming to completion. It's also a great time for resolving any issues because things become much clearer. It's a full illumination on the sphere of personal relationships, love and marriage. So you might be really aware of where is it that you stand within your relationship, but this could also be a business partnership here if you are not in a commitment at this point, or a personal close like a friendship as well. So you might find out some secrets about someone close to your heart at this time, or you might decide you want to let go of some negative emotions that you felt towards your partner, and you're ready for a fresh start. At this time, we will also have Mars squaring Pluto in Capricorn. So here again, activation of your personal sphere and your sphere of domestic life. So you might really feel ambitious and want to get ahead of your in your life. But at the same time, someone might challenge your ego. So the best way to deal with this transit is to be as diplomatic as possible and clear in your communication, because Mars is not comfortable in your sign in Libra, so you might feel a little bit irritable, easily irritable at this time. Now with Pluto activated in your fourth house, this is a really great time for being productive. If you can deal with the stressful energies at this time, be productive at your home, because you will easily release this negative energy this way. Now on the 26th, we've got Venus in Sagittarius square Neptune in Pisces. Venus is in your sphere of communication at that time, and Neptune is in your sphere of everyday routine, workers and health. So here with Venus in your third house of communication, there could be some confusion regarding communication at this time. So yes, be as clear as possible, but also something to pay attention to is to not to have too high expectations of others. And this is also connected to your work life, your co-workers, because there is really, yes, there could be some unrealistic expectations in your dealings with others that could come up at this time. So be realistic, because you might be disappointed if you request or desire something that's unattainable. And the month ends with the Sun in Scorpio. So the Sun is in Scorpio at the end already of October. And this is squaring Saturn in Aquarius. And Saturn is already direct. So Saturn is in your sphere of creativity, children, romance, and the Sun is in your second house of finances, income. This is not a great time for making any financial transactions or investments, because or even like having too high expectations of others here again, but also for competitive work, because Saturn and the Sun squaring Saturn might make your self-esteem or self-worth much lower than usual. But also you might be self-critical, or you might experience that someone is criticizing you. So the best way to deal with this transit is to either work independently, and if you can't, then be patient and persistence, because this will help you to get through, because you might also experience delays, things moving much slower, so at a much slower pace here with Saturn's influence. Right. So yes, also what I always suggest here with Saturn and the square, find something that gives you joy and pleasure, something that makes you feel relaxed throughout this couple of days, the 30th and perhaps 31st. And on this note, I would like to wish you a pleasant month. I hope October is a good month for you, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you and bye for now.